Cinema Classics is sponsored by the Gateway Film Center and is produced by John DeSando and Johnny DiLoretto. Listen to shows online at wcbe.org.
I'm John DeSando.
And I'm Mary Urena, sitting in for Johnny DiLoretto.
And this is Cinema Classics. But I'll tell you, now people wonder sometimes, what are we doing talking about movies that are coming up in the summer that can't even be classics? Well,
they might be. They have the potential to be classics.
And that's the very point. We're trying to spy ones that may have classic value to them. So, and anyway, in the end, we produce the show. And we have a very generous general manager. So we are going to alert people to what's going to come up in July and August. We've already done Summer 1. And we probably had Downton Abbey and Top Gun.
You did.
And so we're now looking at, I don't find anything as blockbustering as it was in the first part. Would I be right, Mary?
Actually, I think there are a few blockbuster potentials
Good.
In terms of intended by the studios. For instance, Thor: Love and Thunder continues the Thor story with Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pratt.
Oh, you're so right. That is, and I'm trying to think of what the one that I had for that. As I pick out one, we're going to go along in a more straightforward way, but I'm trying to think of the one. I will think of one that, because you got the one that I knew would be a possible blockbuster. The only thing I can say is, as I said in the as I was previewing this show, was that Idris Elba has at least two movies here, so that's about the big thing.
Well, and I think there's a lot of animation that has potential to be blockbusters. I mean, even in these superhero genre, we have the DC League of Super Pets.
Good for you.
Which appeals to the families, it appeals to those who love animals, and it appeals to those who love the superhero genre.
Yes. And there's one called, I think I'm right, Secret Headquarters.
Yes. That's also animated.
Yeah.
And the storyline there is that a young boy discovers that the world's most famous superhero's secret headquarters are underneath his house.
Isn't that great? I mean, what a great conception.
Great conception.
Yeah.
I mean, what child hasn't dreamed of some secret hidden chamber underneath their house, or
Yes.
the secret doors through their closet? So
And
I think those have potential.
There's always something going on in the basement or underneath in any kid's house.
Exactly. Not always scary.
No.
Sometimes exciting.
You know, one for me, Mary, that people will bypass it. I hope we get it. Hallelujah. Because Leonard Cohen is just really one of my favorites.
And that song, it's about Leonard Cohen and writing the song and the journey that song has taken. And apparently it was made with his permission.
Okay.
Before his passing. And it's a song that I don't know anyone who doesn't love it. And I agree with you. It's a documentary that I think would be wonderful to experience.
Yeah, yeah. What else you got? Give me one.
Well, as you know, we've talked about my husband Bob on It's Movie Time.
Oh, yeah, Bob's
He's
tough.
very discerning with
Oh,
regards
my
to
goodness.
films.
This is Bob Redfield, for anybody who doesn't know it.
He's very discerning about the films he will actually go to the theater to see. And he is waiting with great anticipation for Minions: The Rise of Gru.
Oh, he does. Wouldn't you know that? Yes, this is a flurry of feathered hair and flared jeans. Gru is growing up in the suburbs.
Yeah, it's basically the backstory of how Gru from the Despicable Me series came to be the world famous villain that he becomes with his minions to assist him.
Well, one I can offer, because I really like both of these stars, and usually they pick good films. Ralph Fiennes and Rebecca Hall are in a film called The Forgiven.
Yes.
And this is a random accident on the lives of an English couple and their friends. And the local Moroccans who all converge on a luxurious desert villa during a decadent weekend-long party. Now, Mary, that sounds pretty good to me.
It does sound very good, and I love Ray Fiennes, and I've seen Rebecca Hall in numerous films. She actually has another film coming out.
Yes,
that is
you're right.
a mystery thriller.
Yeah.
And I'm going to draw a blank on it, and it's somewhere.
No, I also have it. Let me see here. But we'll find it somewhere.
We will.
Yeah.
But so she's really quite a busy actress these days, and always fascinating to watch. And for those of you who don't know of her by name, she's the daughter of Sir Peter Hall,
Yes.
who very famous director of the Royal Shakespeare.
Yes, yes. And in fact, I think she's directed herself.
She has.
Yeah, so good lady. I wanted to add to your very, very brilliant preview of Thor, Love and Thunder, that the bad boy here is Christian Bale.
I know.
He plays the God Butcher. You know, I might go see it just because of him.
Well, and if you ever saw him in American Psycho, it's not really a stretch as to how evil a character Christian Bale can play. So if you're into that, go see Thor, Love and Thunder.
Now, you mentioned earlier, and I think we need to bring her back, Mrs. Harris. What's going on with this?
I so am looking forward to seeing Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It's about a widowed cleaning lady in post-World War II London who, in serving one of her clients, sees a beautiful Dior dress and starts dreaming of someday to be able to buy a dress from Dior so that she feels as fabulous as she thinks she'll feel in that dress. And it's based on a 1958 novella by Paul Gallico and stars Leslie Mann, who was nominated for an Academy Award for Phantom Thread.
Leslie Manville?
Manville, sorry.
Right.
Leslie Manville.
So we'll go back now. And it stars?
Leslie Manville,
Oh.
who was nominated for an Academy Award for Phantom Thread.
Yes, and she has been in many films that I've seen, in particular British, and she is outstanding, but never, I think, gotten the attention she really deserves.
Well, this is completely her movie in the starring role to carry it from start to finish. And it just, in the previews, looks so charming. I'm anxiously awaiting seeing this along with probably lots of girlfriends, because this is one movie Bob said he's not going to see.
Now, Mary, have you read Where the Crawdads Sing?
I did read Where the Crawdads
I knew it.
Sing. And that's also on my list of greatly anticipated films.
Now, what's this about?
So it's about a young girl who is basically abandoned at various points by her mother, by her brother, I believe, and by her father, and she ends up raising herself out in the Outer Banks of the South and educates herself, becomes a wonderful artist of all the nature around her, but is very misunderstood, a lot of it due to class distinctions as to how poor she is with the people who live in town. And it's about her journey to adulthood, and wrapped up in that is a murder mystery.
Tell me, Mary, I think Reese Witherspoon is attached to this somehow?
She is. It's my understanding she bought the rights to the book, and so the movie is actually produced by her production company.
Okay.
And she's listed as the primary producer of the film.
She doesn't appear in the film.
I don't believe so.
So, Mary, I'm a good reader, and this has been on my mind. It's been at the top of the New York Times list for a long time.
Long time. With the movie coming out, it's actually kind of moved back up. It was released in 2018, and it's written by Delia Owen. And the thing that I really respect about the process this film has gone through is that on initial read of the credits, most of the primary creative team surrounding this are women, and it's a story about a woman. It's directed by a woman, the novel is written by a woman, it's being produced by a woman production team. So I'm really excited to see this and to see that it's been brought to the screen.
And you would recommend it as a read?
I would recommend it as a read. So you should go get it.
I know, well, I'm listening to you, and I certainly respect your opinion, and I'm always open to that. Sometimes I suspect things that are on bestseller lists, but it turns out when you have millions of people over several years reading it, that it's probably worth reading.
It's probably worth reading, and Reese Witherspoon also had great success with a memoir that was written called Wild.
Oh, yeah.
Where she actually starred in that as
Yes,
well.
that's
So
right.
she does have experience bringing best-selling novels to the screen already, and so I expect great things from this film.
Great. There's a film called Don't Make Me Go, and this stars John Cho. And he has found out, as a character, he has found out that he has a terminal disease. And, I mean, talk about a cliche, he decides he needs to spend more time with his daughter, I think. And it could be good. I like him as an actor. There's something very riveting about him. And so I just don't know. It's called Don't Make Me Go.
Well, I'm not familiar with it, so I'm glad to learn
Yeah,
about it.
yeah.
from you.
And there's one, now, we haven't done too much on documentaries, and I don't do too much on documentaries because they're so straightforward. I much prefer the murkier, subtle, ambiguous fiction. And that's really what I go to. But one, did you come across Gabby Giffords Won't Back Down?
I did.
And does that look interesting at all?
I'm trying to stay away from politics these
Okay,
days. So
and she's
as
the
wonderful as her story is, I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
So there was an assassination attempt on her in 2014, I guess.
In Arizona.
In Arizona. She was a congresswoman, and so now paralyzed. No? No?
I don't think she's paralyzed. I do think she has brain damage,
Okay.
but she's high functioning.
Yeah. An actress. Well, give me another one, Mary.
Well, in terms of documentaries, since you brought it up, and
Yeah.
returning to this wonderful line of clothing from Phantom Thread to Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, there's actually, if you like shoes, there's going to be a documentary released about Salvatore Ferragamo called Salvatore. That also has been well received so far in the documentary line.
Mary, we have just begun.
We have just scratched the surface.
And now we are ending. So what we can do is, do you have any closing remarks?
Well, I will say there's a lot of content coming out over the summer. July has stronger candidates, I think, than August.
Yes.
August has a lot of streaming service releases as well as horror releases. If you're a teen and you want to see a horror film,
Right.
Bodies, or
Oh, that's
Fear will be right up your alley.
Okay, so if people want to hear more, they're going to have to go. If people want to hear more, they're going to have to go to Double Take, our podcast.
Our podcast to hear more about summer releases.